Hockenheim and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Hockenheim around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn 1.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. They've not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, 7 laps of Spa-Francorchamps?
Yeah. We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport. Cranston and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season. As they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher. Nils Kor clips the back at 10. Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Kor. They go over the hill and Povey's around.
Oh my god, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail when it hit me in the right direction.
Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to round number 5 of the Formula CDM European Series. We're here at the Hockenheim Ring, Baden-Württemberg. Obviously just Hockenheim to you and me. A wonderful racing circuit, one that has changed many times over the years, with a key change back in 2002, meaning that we have the shape of this circuit that we have today. But while it's not the greatest for all drivers to hot lap, we have someone in the box that loves hot lapping this place, and certainly I'm sure we'll love racing around it as well tonight. Ed May in the box with me. Ed, we love this place really. I mean, it's always provided great racing when we've been in the box. This should be no different, should it?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chaz. And yeah, like you mentioned, this is a circuit that I really do love. It's all about getting into the flow state through here, and obviously you've got some seriously important corners. Obviously the parabolica is so crucial coming onto that long sort of back straight of the circuit. Any mistakes through there, well, you've got a lot of time to think about what you've done before you get onto then sort of what is sort of almost like an infield sort of part of the circuit, isn't it, where you go through the Mobile 1 curve, the Sachs curve, where obviously, well, famously Sebastian Vettel kissed goodbye to his championship many years ago. Very iconic location. And also, speaking on just a little bit about the sort of circuit itself, it's a shame that we don't really see it anymore in the world of sort of, I guess, peak top-level motorsport, isn't it? Obviously, struck with financial issues, it's a shame that we don't have sort of at least the German round on the Formula 1 World Championship.
Yeah, it really is a weird one to not have that as part of the calendar, but fingers crossed in future we'll see a return to it. Speaking of the calendar, we'll have a look at the calendar here in Formula CDM, and this European Series has taken us to 4 brilliant circuits so far, and we head here to Hockenheim for this 5th round. Into the second half of the season now, we go to the Hungaroring next week, which will be a real focus in one, I am sure. Red Bull Ring then awaits us on the 19th of November, and we'll finish the season at Imola, which I'm sure, Ed, is going to be quite a spicy final round, isn't it, really? It's quite a tricky circuit, is Imola.
Imola's really elbows out, I think. If you want to make a move through there, you've got to be so assertive and so sort of clear with your intentions, either darting up the inside or trying to hang it around the outside. It's all about trying to make the room work for yourself, and also trying to maybe squeeze cars into some places that they don't really want to be. Obviously not pushing them off the road, but certainly making it as uncomfortable as possible. That's how you can make an overtake around Imola. Here is very different. It's a very wide circuit, isn't it? You can often see cars going 2 wide, 3, potentially even 4 wide in these little Indy Pro 2000s.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be really interesting, especially with sort of the straight line characteristics of this circuit, how the slipstreams can be so crucial. Obviously not in qualifying because it is a one-shot, the drivers are isolated by themselves, but definitely in the race, that's going to add a certain dimension of when drivers maybe plan to pit to get into some slipstream and see if that'll help them out.
Yeah, definitely. And just a quick look as well at the championship standings now. Fraser Smith and Aaron Smith tied on points. We must apologise because at the end of the last stream it was doubling up the points from the sprint race, so they weren't quite how they should have been. But Fraser and Aaron tied on points with Sam Fitzpatrick third. Sam not here tonight by the look of it, with Matt Hoyland fourth, Kevin Zemstra fifth. It's close between him and Lee Aberdeen, who didn't have a great time back at Zandvoort. He may have got second place in the sprint race, but didn't score many points, well, any, in the feature. I think he got 1 point, actually, in the feature race. Blade Speed Esports leading the way in the teams championship, unsurprisingly, on 195. But it's certainly a big gap for them, although close behind, isn't it, really, Ed, with Wave Racing Tech and Flaxton Sport only 6 points between them. Cross Development and Mirage Sport, only 2 points there. And with the move from Marteau to Kalita Motorsport, that team should surely be cracking on and being good to go.
Yeah, Marteau's certainly been one to watch, hasn't he, from his debut outing at Zandvoort, picking up the victory in the sprint race, the first race, even putting it on pole by some margin as well, it has to be said, over Lee Aberdeen, who we know is so strong around here, hot lapping. So like you mentioned, Lee has certainly been struggling, it's fair to say, in terms of getting the results. We know the pace is there. It's just trying to put it all together. And he's, I guess, been on the back of a few sort of bad results, because it was a similar story, wasn't it, at Zolder, I believe?
Yes, yeah, indeed. It was a night that was tainted by the first race, and as soon as it goes wrong in the first race, it just affects your entire evening. So we see right now Victor Oliveira. He's warming up the tyres on his outlap. He's taking a bit of time to get around here. Michael Jones has actually, funnily enough, gone out of the pit lane early as well. So, you know, these guys are told the time they should go out of the pit lane, and they are, well, they've both been about 30 seconds early so far. But then again, it's better than them being 30 seconds late, I guess.
Yes, definitely. Obviously, the way we formatted it this time, from when we first introduced this format, it used to be 20 seconds, it's now 30. We saw it last time out at Zandvoort. It actually allowed us to see a lot more of the drivers on their hot laps, didn't it, Chaz? And sort of allowed us to see a little bit more of what's going to be a very crucial final sector for a lap around here.
Yeah, the final sector in particular is nightmarish, to say the least. Michael Jones is going to get to the line before Victor Oliveira, and he will now crack on with his lap. We'll go on board with Michael and see how he gets on as he heads through the first corner. Bit of a treacherous first corner, isn't it?
Yeah, especially on the colder tyres. These little Indy Pro 2000s do take a little while to get the tyres up to temperature. It's usually on the sort of the third quick lap in sort of a normal qualifying situation is where we'd see the drivers definitely being able to put the fastest times on the board. So it's just, I think, more about getting a clean lap on the board rather than a fast one, especially when it is basically all or nothing in these one-shot qualifyings. You make a mistake and you're going to be starting from the back.
Doesn't sound like Michael's getting all the revs out of his car in the opening section of the lap here. Definitely short shifting. It's almost as if he's not going for it. It's very, very strange. But Victor Oliveira's going for it, and he's going off. He's run wide there on the edge of the circuit. And the Dragonfly competition driver making his return here tonight after missing a couple of rounds. Certainly not having the best of starts to his qualifying. Big shout out to his teammate Francois Brandet, who's unfortunately not able to join us here this evening. We hope he's doing all right, and we look forward to the next time we see the wonderful Frenchman out on circuit. Victor Oliveira showing us just how twitchy that car is around there. There's a lot of corners that are going to catch our drivers out tonight, isn't there, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, especially that section we just saw them go through there, having to put the power down while navigating the weight and direction change. The car is really under load there, and any amount of wheel spin, all of a sudden, that force going through those rear tyres, it's only going to be released, and you're going to be ending up into a spin. Very snappy at the front end there for Victor Oliveira. It's sort of trying to get it to bite, but then it bites sort of maybe not when he's anticipating it. Not really a clean lap from Victor Oliveira. It was certainly quicker than Michael Jones. Imagine if it is a valid time, but it's not. Probably down to, well, what we saw at the end of the Parabolica, isn't it? That one mistake into the hairpin.
Yeah, that's all it can come down to. So Michael Jones, the only driver with a valid time at the moment then out of the two. Philip Miles next up. He's not going to cross the line here and basically complete his fast lap. He's about to start his fast lap. Little gap in the running order for just a moment there. We had Chris Humphreys would have been next up, but Chris has resigned from the championship. Rob Lundgren and then Francois Brandet. All three of them not here tonight, so that's why there's the gap. Philip Miles now starts his fast lap, and he's done a purple final sector on his outlap. That'll give him confidence to go on now to put in a decent fast time. Although, to be fair, he probably won't know that he's done a purple sector leading up to this bit. Building up the revs onto that Parabolica again. It's so massive in any car, but in these machines it just feels colossal, doesn't it?
It does. You can just see it's dwarfed by the just swathes of tarmac to the right-hand side there. So much space, but driver's obviously hugging that inside line, trying to keep wheels as close as possible to that white line. But too late on the brakes there for Philip Miles. Miles offline. Able to get a decent exit by obviously having a sort of more wider angle through the corner, almost like that. Well, is it Tarzan box where we see the drivers go sort of more on the high side of that corner at Zandvoort?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Trying to take that line from Zandvoort to Hockenheim, not really the optimal route.
No, definitely not. But Philip Miles coming into the final sector now. This is another very tough point. It's a part of the circuit that you'll have seen a lot on social media recently, with Ian Kanguven taking the victory in DTM in his Porsche down the inside of the BMW there. And right now, these guys, well, they're not having to worry about Porsches or BMWs. They're just having to worry about battling themselves in these final corners. Across the line then comes Philip Miles. There is the time in line, and he goes to the top. 6.5 seconds quicker than Michael Jones. Michael will... I think he was backing out of his lap, was Michael. He wasn't pushing too hard. He's just hoping for a clean start, because at the end of the day, if you just get a lap on the board, that still guarantees you a few positions, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Obviously, we've seen Victor Oliveira go through a lap and not put one on the board, so he will be starting, you imagine, plumb last. Moment in time, we'll see... Simon Price, over the line. He has set a valid time. Good enough for second place at the moment, just ahead of Michael Jones. Hatfield now as the next driver we'll see going on to a lap. This double right-hander is so tricky because you want to get it nice and angled in, decent speed through, but then not too much that you overshoot the final corner.
Whoa.
Trying to slow down all the time, really using all of the runoff on the exit, which you are able to do.
Oof.
Kind of Hatfield, only just by, well, what is that, 59 thousandths, nearly 600ths of a second shy of Philip Miles. Very fine margins already in this qualifying session.
Danny Weir around the hairpin. Danny is still having wheel issues. He had issues with his wheel last week at Zandvoort. He's still having them at the moment, but he's got to be out on track to at least record them, and he's going to give it a go here tonight and see whether he can at least compete and get some action out there on the circuit. Nothing beats track time. He goes across the line, slots into third position, just over half a second down on Philip Miles, who retains his current provisional pole position. Next up, Jack Werrell, a driver that's definitely got pace beyond his championship position here, Ed. It's looking like Jack's going to do a pretty solid one, but no purple sectors yet.
Yeah, nothing coming through right now for Jack Werrell, who was very strong in qualifying in the past. We'll see over the line now. Finally a purple sector right at the very end. Should be just about enough for pole position. Yes, by maybe 0.3 of a second there. Jack Werrell, so he's now the driver that all the subsequent ones will try to dethrone. Currently on a lap is David Whitehouse, Darrington Francis, teammates of Jack Werrell. Can it be a provisional Darrington Francis 1-2? Well, what we need to see now as he comes in towards Mobile 1 curve, and he's got to really chuck it through there. That's where you find all the time, isn't it? Be brave and trust that the car's going to stick.
Yeah, absolutely. You could hear him sort of holding off on the throttle, trying not to over push it. And then he just clipped the curb. Luckily, though, that curb straightened him up. Sometimes that curb can lift the rear of the car and throw it around quicker than you can say backwards. And this time, for David, he managed to at least have the car behave itself with the left rear on that big red curb. Here out the final corner as well. You've got to be careful if you dip a wheel off that white and blue section on the left-hand side. Whitehouse slots into third behind Philip Miles. Miles holds on. Stuart Clark has just set a time as well. He's flown across the line, and he's gone 5th fastest. Just half a second between the top 5 at present, and quite quick between those two to get across the line. Next up, the sole Flaxen Sport car out there tonight, Martin Kenyon.
Martin Kenyon, like you mentioned, flying the flag for Flaxen Sport. Sam Fitzpatrick, his teammate, not here tonight, it would seem. Big shame as well, because Sam is certainly one of the more informed drivers right now in the championship fight. Really been clawing back some points against Fraser Smith and Aaron Smith, but for whatever reason, not able to make it here tonight. So hope to see him back next week.
Yes.
But for now, our focus shifts to the drivers who are here. The one who's really barreling through the final couple of corners, John Tusting from Mirage Sport.
Here we go then, around the final corner goes John Tusting. Ben Chalcraft's done 2 purple sectors so far. He's going to be going for pole. Purple final sector for John Tusting. He goes quickest now by just under 0.2 of a second. A lovely lap by John. We quickly switch to Chalcraft, car number 8. Ben has started on pole for a couple of weeks in a row, actually, after finishing 10th in the first race of the night. He wants to score more points here from Hockenheim. Looks like he's really pushing the car there, Ed. It's getting squirrely. It's getting sideways.
Yeah, you could just hear the tyres screaming at him as he was pushing hard there through that final corner. He has done just enough, though. Used all of the rubber and grip available to him. Go 0.3 faster than John Tusting. The drivers really are starting to put in some very quick times now. Ben Chalcraft, fastest of the bunch, originally on pole position. Alex Fretwell, have a look, see what he can do. Really running out wide to open out the final corner. Properly attacking it now, aren't they, all the drivers? Alex Fretwell, 2 purple sectors at the end. That should be enough for pole position, and it is. 2.5 of a second.
Incredible stuff. Quick change from one to the other there for pole. Suddenly, Werrell finds himself in 4th place, 0.7 of a second off. Fabio Grassetto will be the next one to cross the line. The Italian has been rapid, but not as high up the order as he wants to be. Into the final few corners, that's not going to help his lap time, and the very pretty Wave Racing Tech car needs a tidy final corner to make up for that. That looks very tidy indeed. Clings to the left-hand side of the circuit. Purple final sector. He is only going 2nd fastest, though. Fretwell goes quicker. And it was definitely that little mistake, wasn't it, that cost him there?
Yeah, it was just a little bit too squirrely coming out of the infield hairpin. Unfortunately, that's the fine margins that you have to work with, and that's also why we want to see the drivers pushing hard, even though the tyres aren't necessarily there, because it does create those dramatic moments where one small mistake can really shake up the running order for the sprint race. Then at Schneebel now, we've obviously had a little bit of a break in the running order. Mentioned just now see Leonard Schneebel, a bit more of his lap than we've seen a few other drivers around here. And all about the final couple of corners. It's where you see the great drivers really start to separate themselves from the good ones, pushing all the way over to the left-hand side. See what Schneebel does as he crosses the line.
Oof.
Not enough for pole position. Starting alongside Alex Fretwell as it stands. And Leonard Schneebel's a driver that we saw at the start of the season, at least very, very strong, but he's been a bit naughty there, and he's not done the full lap, and he's going to get, well, stern talking to from Lord and Overlord, Jazz.
Don't call me that. Oh, Jack Reeves, sideways as ever, round the final corner, drifting the back end. He's done a purple sector 2, and he still can't dethrone Alex Fretwell. Fretwell currently fastest by just over 0.1 of a second. Alex doing a wonderful job. It's going to be strange to see this man so early, though. Lee Aberdeen, 2 purple sectors so far. Took the first 2 pole positions of the season, if I remember rightly, or was one of them Fraser Smith? I think one was, but...
I think Fraser was Manicourt?
Yes. Yeah, you're right. But Lee Aberdeen on a mission, hoping to do the best time and get back onto pole. Can he do it? He's not had the best of luck recently in the last 2 rounds. 2 purple sectors should guarantee it, and look at that, nearly 0.6 of a second. What a great lap that is by Lee Aberdeen. Awesome. Seems a shame to switch away from him.
Yeah, but we've got to look now at Kevin Zemstra, who's pushing just as hard. Needs to find a little bit more time, though, in that final sector. No purples on the board yet from Kevin Zemstra. I don't think I've actually seen many drivers go purple in the first sector. It's always in those final couple of corners where a lot of these drivers have been making up the time. As I say that, Matt Hoyland's just gone purple in the first sector. Kevin Zemstra, though, has just gone second, slotting in behind Lee Aberdeen. Matt Hoyland now for Wave Racing Tech on a charge. His purple sector has just gone bye-bye, which tells us that someone seems to be on a charge further down in the running order. We'll see, though, what Matt Hoyland can do for the time being now. Pushing hard, running all the way over to the outside. A little bit more steady, I think, from Matt Hoyland on that time. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough.
Oof.
No, definitely. That's...
Wow.
What has happened earlier? Something must have happened earlier in that, because that is not like Matt Hoyland to be this far down.
Full in lap, please, Matt. Thank you.
Oh, dear.
Crying out loud. Well, they're doing it. You know, they're doing it live on air.
Caught in 4K.
They're gonna get, telling off. Aaron Smith is the one that set that purple sector one. Look at him using all of the road here. He's done a green middle sector, so it's not purple, but he's on a mission here to try and gain that pole position. Joint leader in the championship with Fraser Smith.
Yeah, when he just got two wheels onto that orange sausage curb, I wonder if he just had to back off a little bit, if that has cost him a little bit of time. Obviously, Lee Aberdeen's effort is so strong. It's all about now these final couple of corners. Pole isn't everything around here. There are plenty of opportunities to overtake, but look at him. Almost opposite lock as he was getting out onto the start-finish straight. And that's just about enough for pole position. Really pushing hard there. Purple at the start, purple at the end, and enough for pole position. Fraser Smith now, though, we see him out onto the circuit. And we'll hope... Well, Bladespeed will certainly be hoping that he'll be able to get up onto the front row, but once more, no purple sectors, and Fraser is actually the last driver out for a qualifying time.
Well, can he do enough in this final sector to make up for it? That looked nice and tidy, although it seemed like he had two bites of the cherry trying to get to that apex. Seemed like he had to stabilise the car. No purple sectors there from Fraser. Was it tidy enough to get on the front row of the grid? No, it was not. It's going to be third position, but once again, for the Teams Championship, it's great for Bladespeed Esports. They get two cars in the top three, but it's Aaron Smith straight back to the top of the times. And after what was admittedly a turbulent week with stewards' decisions and incident lookalikes and all sorts, Aaron is clearly very pleased with that, and rightly so, because he's had a bit of a stressful week having to sort out an incident that we were looking at. So yeah, another solid session there though, Ed. I really do enjoy the format working like this. It's certainly been exciting to add those extra gaps in. Gives us a bit longer to talk about it, and the drivers, you know, they still get to enjoy the sort of longer session.
Yeah, everyone at least gets a bit of screen time as well. It certainly puts some of them under the spotlight in terms of not doing or not following proper procedure for the in-laps. I know you'll be having words with a couple of the drivers after tonight, but certainly that's not going to take a shine off what was a supreme qualifying session. Aaron Smith for DNA Motorsport on pole position, but, well, he's going to have two Bladespeed Esports right in his rear view mirrors, trying to keep him occupied.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I tell you, it was certainly an interesting session, that. Very interesting. Fraser Smith not able to get right on top. I think he's practicing his starts on the way in, which is really interesting to see. Good time to do it. Alex Fretwell, car 5, P5. He's happy with that one. His teammate Danny Weir will start down in 18th position. But that is the end of the session. I tell you what, we've timed that quite well, haven't we? Timed that quite nicely. Means that everyone can get their laps in and be all good and well behaved. Right then. Let's have a look at the grid then. It's Aaron Smith and Lee Aberdeen on the front row. Fraser Smith and Kevin Zemstra line up on row 2. Alex Fretwell and Jack Reeve will make up the third row. Then it's Lennart Schneebel alongside Fabio Grassetto. Ben Chalcraft will start 9th alongside Matt Hoyland. Interesting qualifying that from Matt. Not where we'd expect him. John Tusting is 11th with Jack Werrell alongside him. Remember when Werrell was on pole? Crazy. Philip Miles 13th. David Whitehouse 14th. Then it is Connor Hatfield and Martin Kenyon. We then have Stuart Clark alongside Danny Weir. Simon Price and Michael Jones make it an all-team Verde row 10, with Victor Oliveira completing the 21 cars. And Alex mentioning that it'd be funny if Danny was down in 55th position, car 5, P55. If we had a big enough championship, that is actually possible on iRacing. I'm intrigued to see what Kevin Zemstra can do here today. He had a pretty good time back at Zandvoort at his home race. Here in Germany, though, intrigued to see. It's good to also have back with us tonight Lennart Schneebel. This is going to be his home race of the season here in Germany, so I'm excited for that too. But what about Aaron Smith on pole position here, Ed? He's got a lot of defending to think about with cars getting the slipstream behind him.
Yeah, and importantly, if he doesn't get a great start, right up the inside will be Lee Aberdeen on that inside line. So it's all about the start and off the line to manage the revs and the wheel spin.
Here we go then. The revs will rise, as indeed will ours in the commentary box. And round number 5 of the Formula CDM European Series gets underway from Hockenheim. And it's an equal start for the two on the front row. Aaron Smith turns in, commits to turn 1 and gets it done. But a big wobble on the apex leads to the two Blade Speed esports cars going side by side up towards turn 2. Grassetto has had a bit of an interesting start. He gained a place and then he's lost one. Hoyland's gained 2 into the first couple of corners. Looks like Martin Kenyon's had to slam on the brakes. There's been a bit of a puff of smoke further back. Kenyon's still having a bit of a wobble on the exit, but Aaron Smith holds his lead and Kenyon is still off the circuit. He's gone off and come back on. What about the cars behind though, Ed, as the cameraman falls over?
Yeah, Fraser Smith and Aaron Smith now ahead of just about Lee Aberdeen, but Lee's going to try and look up the inside. Just gets nose ahead at the apex. They continue to go side by side up ahead, but I think Lee has just been able to eke out and should have this one made through the right-hand peak. Yes, he does. Covers off, though, the inside line. Strong defence from Lee. Doesn't want to relinquish that second place that he worked so hard for in qualifying. Two-way Racing Tech drivers trading places. Matt Hoyland now up ahead of Fabio Grassetto. It's way over to the inside there. I think that's Alex Fretwell trying to get through on Lennart Schneebel, but Alex has gone far too deep, runs off onto the gravel, and is going to get swamped by both of the cross development cars. Lennart around the outside. Jack Reeve trying to get in on the mix now, but they've just about settled into single file traffic. Way over on the inside line though, isn't it? Through the Mobil 1 curve.
That was crazy. Absolutely crazy. I think it was Fretwell and Reeve, was it? Let's have a quick look. Yeah, it was Schneebel. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Moves all the way over. Schneebel forces him to the wall, and then Jack Reeves says, "Go on, I'll try it." Schneebel manages to get back in front of him. And we've had an unfortunate issue for Connor Hatfield. He's had an spin down at the hairpin on the first lap. David Whitehouse involved in this one. Stuart Clark and Danny Weir side by side just behind. Whoa, he locks up on the way in. Car goes in a straight line. Nightmare stuff, that is. That is not what you want. Lee Aberdeen runs second, but the car ahead of him is still Aaron Smith. Behind, we've got Fretwell, Reeve, Hoyland and Grassetto all fighting away, side by side.
Yeah, this is where we're going to see a lot of battling, I think, is for the all-important 10th position, where obviously the drivers know the rewards are great for pole position in the feature race, where all the big points are scored as well. It's worked out brilliantly in the past for Wave Racing Tech. We'll see if they can manage to make it stick, but they're going to be going 3 wide with Alex Fretwell stuck in the middle, and there's contact, and it's going to end in tears, but somehow, now we know the suspension of these things made of paper mache. Is that done catastrophic damage to either Matt Hoyland or Alex Fretwell? Seems to be okay. Can't see any meatballs.
Yeah, no meatball flags at the moment. Somehow, that was a big hit between the two. I imagine Hoyland has had the daylight scared out of him, which is why Werrell has now taken the opportunity to get by. We'll go on board with Matt Hoyland and see what the steering's like. Oh, his teammate Grassetto still having a fight with Jack Reeve, the two of them rubbing wings and rear wheels. I tell you, that was scary, scary stuff. Hoyland did a great job round the outside at the end of the day. Managed to give the space. Let's see what it's like down the straight if he gets to it. Car seems fine in terms of steering. We'll just have a quick look in here though. We'll go back to an onboard. This is the moment.
Check out Fretwell as well, because I think he got a bit of contact to his left front.
Oh, great stuff from Jack Reeve as well. Yeah. Slams on it and gets out of it, and then he still goes around the outside of Hoyland into the next corner. Terrifying stuff. Hoyland has now gone off. Hoyland's had a spin. He's kissed the barrier. We need to go to the front though, because Aaron Smith is side by side with Lee Aberdeen. Sorry, Matt. Down towards the hairpin. The lead changes for the first time.
Yeah, Aaron Smith though up on the inside is going to try and claim the corner for himself. Careful on the exit, but seems to be, well, having it all under control and all his own way for now is Aaron Smith. Through the first 4 minutes of this race, relatively unscathed, but he's got another 10 and a half now to endure with two Blade Speed Esports cars breathing down his neck. Obviously, Fraser is probably going to be the more eager of the two, with the championship being, well, between the two Smiths at the top of the order right now. Will be a marginal point swing in favour of Aaron. Obviously, the majority of the points will be scored later in the evening in the feature race. Do you reckon that's playing on the mind of Fraser at all, that he's going to be happy to let Aaron have this one, bearing in mind that he'll be able to at least have, as it stands, a car between himself and his main rival for the feature?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in terms of the point system, the first race bags you 15 points for a win, so he'd lose 6 points here to Aaron Smith. But even if they finished first and third the other way around in the feature race, then Aaron would lose 9 points to Fraser. So, yeah, you do have to think about the bigger picture and not run into the back of your teammate. Good God, the revs dropped quickly then on Fraser Smith's car, nearly into the back of Lee Aberdeen. Let's go back on board, actually, and have a look at the slipstream, although he's not choosing to go for it. That's quite interesting. I suppose it's the shorter line down the inside. Lee Aberdeen and Aaron Smith very close to one another, nearly wheel to wheel. Fraser's trying to scare them by looking down the inside here. Lee's put the car in the middle of the road, but look at this now. Fraser's going to try and tuck back underneath his teammate. It's a carbon copy of the previous lap, really. They remain side by side. Once again, Kevin Zemstra's going to sit behind the pair of them here, watching this, thinking, come on, boys, sort it out.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the revs dropping. I think his stomach nearly dropped there. Did Fraser Smith going almost into the back of his teammate. There's always, I think, literally just outbrake himself there and go into the side of Aaron Smith there. Kevin Zemstra's profited from it and now sees a chance at a race victory. All of a sudden, it's become a four-way fight for the win. Yeah,
Zemstra out of nowhere, fourth up to second very quickly. But yeah, Lee down the inside. There's nearly contact again. Zemstra's off. Zemstra's off now. Lee Aberdeen just pushing everyone out of the way. He just seems to be understeering wider and wider every single corner. But yeah, Lee Aberdeen, unfortunately, with contact, getting past Aaron Smith down the inside. Let's have another look at this then. They got very lucky, actually, that the two wheels sort of interlock with each other and the cars didn't hop into the air. But he tries it, and he just doesn't get it stopped. The back end starts to get away from him. And then, yeah, like I say, they're both very lucky. Lee has to really back out there to not hit his teammate. Fraser Smith is the one that inherits the lead. And now we'll see the incident with Zemstra. It's just pure understeer. It's only the tiniest tap as well. And again, they get very lucky that the cars don't hop into the air. But yeah, Lee has continued on. He's not given the place back or anything.
So looking at that as well, I think for that earlier incident with Lee and Aaron, it sort of screams to me that Lee wasn't really looking ahead at Aaron, but more looking behind at Fraser Smith, trying to brake later than him to cover him off, but not anticipating Aaron Smith braking himself. And well, at least that's my take on it. I don't think there was anything malicious. It was just a case of a lot going on, and maybe just sort of lost sight a touch of the car ahead. Meanwhile, got this excellent fight for important 10th place, currently held by Jack Werrell. Will be on that reverse grid pole position. Need to be so careful through this sector. Coming out of that left-hander, you've got to put the power down while turning at low speed. The revs can easily spike and send you into a spin in any car, but particularly these Indy Pro 2000s, they're so prone to that. I've already seen it a few times with drivers losing control, especially out of actually the final corner, where we see them ever so twitchy. I'm not really surprised if we see a few drivers in sort of, well, self-inflicted spins there, as we nearly see that from Jack Werrell, pushing ever so hard.
He's really trying to hold on to that reverse grid pole. Him and the Darrington Francis team really need it. We've seen great pace from Jack so far this season. He wants to convert that into the scores that he deserves. Fretwell's going well at the moment. He's got Jack Reeve behind him. Leonard Schneebel has disappeared up the road since he got through. Oh no, Connor Hatfield is off. Manages to save it. Oh no, he doesn't. Victor Oliveira also had a drama a bit earlier on. Victor making his return with us here tonight. Is it just going to go around on the brakes? Yeah, just a little bit too hot into the left as we go straight back to the front of the pack. Lee Aberdeen and Fraser Smith, the two teammates, now swapping places. It's like Hakkinen and Coulthard. In fact, no, I'm going to compare it. It's Rosberg and Hamilton, isn't it? It's the two silver cars getting away from everybody else and battling as if it's, what was it? Was it Bahrain 2014? It was, wasn't it? That's when it first started, it first kicked off. And these two Well, they're both rapid. They both know what the score is with scoring well for the team and getting points, but they both want to be the number one driver. They've both got the capability to be number one driver. Both remarkable talents, and we knew as soon as the driver random draw was done before the Formula CDM European Series that they'd be ones to watch. Kevin Zemstra now in 4th place. This is the Lee Aberdeen Survivors Club right here. These two, Aaron Smith and Kevin Zemstra. It's nice to see Leonard Schneebel going well. He may not be in this fight, but he's going well in 5th position at his home race. And then we need to go back to Werrell and see how he's clinging on, because, I mean, it looked like the car was trying to throw him off the circuit earlier on, didn't it, Ed? But he's managed to hold on to 10th place for another lap. Just 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, and he'll be hoping that those 5 minutes will pass by without any significant incident. Just behind, John Tusting running very wide, and actually I think having to back out the power just a touch and then drag a bit more breathing room. And mentioned though, out in front, Fraser Smith and Aberdeen threatening to break away from the pack, but you know, as soon as those two start to battle once more, Aaron Smith, Kevin Zemstra, they'll be right back in there, and Kevin has been really able to pick his moments. Almost got into 2nd place if it wasn't for a little bit of contact. As I say that, I think he's just going up ahead in the inside now of Aaron Smith. So he's not picking a great moment to try and work together with his rival, and we can see the race victory just up ahead. Aaron Smith, though, he's going to be trying all he can to defend a podium. Still nothing to be sniffed at, and wants to, I guess, reduce the amount of points that he'll be dropping to his championship rival at this stage of the night. Wolf, big moment there for Grassetto. Front wing off.
Yeah, that's broken front left suspension as well. Yeah. Something has happened with... Oh, Martin Kenyon has also gone off, and so has Danny Weir. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, unrelated. Oh no, yeah. Unrelated spins. What has happened there to... Was that Stuart Clark?
Stuart, yeah, seems to be pulled over to the right-hand side of the circuit as well.
Grassetto's accident was ahead of all of this as well.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Alex Fretwell just behind. There. Yeah. Fretwell had lost the place to him on the previous lap. Oh, Alex has gone from one direction to the other. That is a big old hit into the back of Fabio Grassetto. Stuart Clark has come into the pit lane, which is a very strange one. Great camera, but yeah, Stuart Clark ends up in the pits for some reason. Really not sure why that would be. Lee Aberdeen continues on leading this race. Fraser Smith 2nd, Aaron Smith 3rd, with Kevin Zemstra again trying a move down to the hairpin. I think he's subscribed to the fact that they're not going to catch the leaders at this rate, and now he just wants to get that podium spot, get those extra points, and they go side by side once again out of here. The two cross development cars just behind. Oh, that's close stuff. Very close stuff as they run through the right-hander. Zemstra's going to try and break that a little bit later. He does so. He's overdone it. Smith, aware of how it can go wrong into there, gets out of it. And Zemstra goes down the inside. Oh, Aaron wants to just dig back underneath him, but it doesn't quite work before they head into the stadium section once again.
Yeah, here we go. Zemstra, a little bit of understeer creeping in there. He's really catching up tall, is he, to Lee Aberdeen and Fraser Smith. So Blade Speed Esports comfortably 1-2 for now. Nearly 3 seconds from Smith to Zemstra. Not from Zemstra to Smith, though. That is 0.3 of a second. As it's Aaron breathing down his neck as we start what will not be the final lap. It will be the final lap next time by. So it's 2 to go now.
Absolutely is. And Chalcraft now chasing down Alex Fretwell. Werrell now up into 9th position at the demise of Fabio Grassetto. Matt Hoyland in the background there, continuing on his great recovery since his spin earlier on in the race. As a big old jump and a skip over the curbs. He's up to 12th. Should anything happen ahead on the final lap, Matt Hoyland could end up getting reverse grid pole position here, which would be very interesting. Aaron Smith and Kevin Zemstra swapping places again in the background. The two leaders go side by side into the hairpin once more, as these two still getting friendly with each other. Zemstra now gets back in front and retakes 3rd position. But what about Aberdeen against Smith? The two of them are throwing everything at each other. Fraser doesn't care that that's his teammate right in front of him. He's not thinking about the team's championship. He's thinking about the extra 3 points he gets in the Drivers' Championship if he finishes ahead of Lee. But Lee also knows that he needs to recuperate points after having a poor last 2 race meetings.
Yes, certainly does, and he's not going to want to move over for anyone, even if it is his teammate bearing down here on him. Still early days in the championship as well. Can't be trying any team orders. All about moving through. Obviously, this marks the halfway point of the season, at least this European tour.
Well, we're into the second half now, aren't we?
Into the second half now, so still plenty to play for. While Lee was able to drop that amount of points in the championship, he can also quite easily claw them back in, well, the same amount of time. See what he can do, but so far his night seems to be getting off to the best possible start. We'll see though if Fraser will have anything to say about that. Get all the way down on the parabolica, this long back straight as Jack Werrell into the barrier. That's huge for the top 10 fight. All of a sudden, Jack Werrell's night in the space of one corner turned on its head.
Yeah, and he's done it on his own as well by the look of it. It looks like it could be an opportunity for Philip Miles to get his first points of the season. Oh no, that is a big accident as well for Jack Werrell. Big accident, just an innocent little loss of control over the curbs, and it spears the car into the wall. Side by side for the lead between Aberdeen and Smith. Smith has gone down the inside through the right-hander. Lee Aberdeen through the left-hander down the inside. Now they're going back to the right, so Fraser holds onto that inside line again. Well, there could be an Aaron Smith or Kevin Zemstra win if these boys fight too hard here. In the background, you can see Kenyon trying to move on Danny Weir. Fraser Smith down the inside, stops it well down the inside to ensure that he doesn't run wide, but Lee Aberdeen off the circuit. And Fraser Smith retakes the lead. Fraser Smith, one of only 2 drivers this season to take multiple race victories. And he's about to get his third by the look of it. On the final lap, he's got it done over his teammate. He needs those championship points. And Fraser Smith wins at Hockenheim. He takes the sprint race in a Blade Speed Esports 1-2 finish. Aaron Smith eventually overcomes Kevin Zemstra to finish in 3rd position. Very well done to him. Leonard Schneebel, welcome back. 5th and 6th for Cross Development. Well done to those 2. Alex Fretwell and Ben Chalcraft next. Then it's going to be John Tusting, and just behind him, hopefully for his sake, holding on to the points, is Philip Miles going to get his top 10? Yes, he is. Philip Miles gets his first points of the season and gets pole position for race 2. Hoyland finishing just behind. A great recovery from Matt. But wow, a busy sprint race to start us off there, and a very intense battle between Fraser Smith and his teammate Lee Aberdeen. That was, I think Bahrain 2014 is probably a good reference, because that could light some fires, that, I think.
Yes, and that certainly won't be the last time we see them battle, and it probably won't be the last time tonight either, because with that reverse grid, they'll be starting 10th and 9th. A lot of work to do to climb up the order, but they'll be able to, you would imagine, do that with the pace that they've been able to display, at least in that first race, able to pull away from, well, the likes of Aaron Smith and Kevin Zemstra. No small feat, so huge credit to them. They're the ones to watch in the next race. Yeah,
definitely. Absolutely wonderful stuff. And there is the result. Fraser Smith takes the victory, and he ends that one in the top spot. He finishes ahead of Lee Aberdeen. Aaron Smith next up. That's 6 points in Fraser's favour. And Kevin Zemstra finishing 4th. Leonard Schneebel finishing 5th. Then it's Jack Reeve and Alex Fretwell 6th and 7th. Chalcraft, Tusting and Miles complete the top 10. 2 Hikawa cars in the top 3 for this reverse grid. Matt Hoyland will start 11th, with David Whitehouse in 12th. Danny Weir finished 13th, just ahead of Martin Kenyon. Simon Price was next up ahead of Stuart Clark, Connor Hatfield and Michael Jones. And Jack Werrell was out of the race. So too was Fabio Grassetto, and so too Victor Oliveira. Not the best race for those guys, unfortunately. Let's have a look at the championship points at present then, after that race victory has been applied. And as you see, Fraser Smith is now 6 points clear of Aaron Smith in the Drivers' Championship. Sam Fitzpatrick holds on to 3rd, but Hoyland drops 2 places. Lee Aberdeen gains 2 places, so he's had a really good jump there up into 4th. Alex Fretwell also moving ahead of Keo Tiago Marteau, who is not here tonight. But yeah, an interesting start to the racing here. Let's just have a look as well. Yes, there is confirmed 1 point for Philip Miles. He gets his first on the board this season, meaning we've got 21 drivers that have now scored so far this season. We have A warm-up session now going on for a little bit. The drivers will reacquaint themselves and head out on the circuit. Ed and I will just take a quick break for 5 minutes. We'll be right back with you, though, for the feature race in round number 5 of the Formula CDM European Series. Don't go anywhere. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Ed May here for the Formula CDM European Series from the wonderful Hockenheim ring. As you can see, the drivers are loving putting on a drifting demonstration for us during this warm-up session. We were just looking at Michael Jones' car then and trying to realise, well, I had a bit of a reminisce last week about what this car reminds me of. And obviously it's a very Castrol-like brand with the white and the green and the red. But does anybody remember Octan, the Lego fuel oil company brand thing? Because me and Ed have just had an absolute meltdown remembering it, because that's what it seems to remind
Revelation,
us both of.
wasn't it, of Lego Racers on PC, and I think Lego Island as well, similar games that from at least mine and your childhood, Chaz, coming back to the forefront of the memories. It's funny, isn't it, how you can pattern recognition, it creeps up on you, doesn't it? You suddenly get flashbang with the realisation, I remember this.
Well, back in 2021, I streamed on Twitch my playthrough of Lego Racers 2, because you used to have to do your car up and get golden bricks and stuff like that, and you had to build your own car and go to different islands and do loads of quests and stuff. Lego Racers 1, I feel, was a bit better because it was all about the individual races and then a one-on-one with all the different bosses. There was the likes of Basil the Batlord and King Kahooka and all them.
Who was that pirate one? I hated him.
Captain Blackbeard.
Yeah, couldn't stand him.
Yeah.
The words that I have for that man cannot be broadcasted, but yes.
Because he was used to shoot his cannon at you.
He was horrific.
Yeah. I remember there was...
Tell you what's not been horrific, though, Chaz. Back to, think the topic at hand. Racing. The last race, really, really good, wasn't it? It was absolutely excellent. The battling that we had up front. Surely Aberdeen got his elbows out a little bit. We'll see if there's anything from that. I think it was more just hard racing, no malicious activity from him. But at the end of the day, it wasn't Lee that got the victory, was it? It was, teammate Fraser Smith with the last lap efforts to, really try and extend a championship lead.
It was King Redbeard. Captain Redbeard, by the way, not Blackbeard. King Kahooka, Basil the Batlord, Johnny Thunder, Baron Von Baron, Gypsy Moth. That was the one I hated. The blue one. Gypsy Moth.
Who was the Aztec one?
King Kahooka.
King Kahooka, that was on. Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he was a problem as well. But
I was about to get away with swearing on my own broadcast then, but I'm not going to. No, we'll save that. But you're absolutely right there, mate. An interesting first race. Kevin Zebstra will be a little bit gutted that he didn't get the podium that he was very much in contention for. But as the session finishes, we get prepared for the feature race. 40-minute feature race here with a pit stop, mandatory pit stop here at Hockenheimringen. Let's have a look at the grid. It's Philip Miles on pole position with John Tusting alongside him in the Mirage Sport car. Then it's Philip's Hikawa Racing teammate Ben Chalcraft next up. Alex Fretwell in fourth place. Jack Reeve and Leonard Schneebel make a very interesting cross-development row 3. Mirage Sport, Kevin Zemstra alongside DNA Motorsport, Aaron Smith. Then it's Lee Aberdeen and Fraser Smith, the battling teammates, with Matt Hoyland and David Whitehouse next up. Danny Weir starts alongside Martin Kenyon. Simon Price is alongside Stuart Clark. Then we have Connor Hatfield and Michael Jones. Jack Werrell and Fabio Grassetto both crashed out of the first race. Fabio having contact with, I believe, Alex Fretwell from behind. And then Victor Oliveira will be hoping for a little bit more in this second race of the night after having a bit of a tough time just earlier. What about this, though? 2 Hikawa cars near the front here. Philip Miles, pole position. He just got his first championship points. Now we're throwing him into the deep end, aren't we?
Yes, we certainly are, but he's going to have to certainly have his work cut out for him. The likes of Reeve there with him. Leonard Schneebel not taking to the start.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Without Leonard Schneebel, the feature race here from Hockenheim gets underway. Looks like an interesting start in the background for Connor Hatfield. Great start from Ben Chalcraft. Not what John Tusting would have wanted. He's lost out, and it's a Hikawa Racing 1-2 out of the first couple of corners. And look at that, they're 3 wide behind. Schneebel, I think, has come out of the pit lane. His teammate, meanwhile, is in the middle of all this fight. Aaron Smith puts his nose down the inside of Zemstra. Tusting runs wide. Fretwell down the inside of him. Hoyland also in the mix as well. Then the 2 Blade Speed Esports cars. Fraser Smith right round the outside trying to get by Fretwell. Look at Aaron Smith on this opening lap. 4 places gained. Same with Zemstra, who's alongside him.
Yeah, these two going off like a stabbed rat at the start of this race. There's still 40 minutes to go, but they're really racing like it is just a sprint down the inside. Goes Zemstra on Smith. I think he is, yes, he does secure that position. Actually, on the exit of the corner now, Alex Fretwell's going to try and get one through on Aaron. See if that's going to pay dividends. No, it isn't, and now he needs to go defensive from Jack Reeve in behind. Fraser Smith and Matt Hoyland both up 3 places, and they're going side by side currently, but further back, there's been a coming together between Connor Hatfield and Stuart Clark. I'd like to see exactly how it happened. Was it maybe just a dart to the inside? Connor got caught way late, and he's locked up. He's trying to turn. He's doing all he can, but when you lock up those fronts, no matter ever the amount of steering going to be put in, it's just going to plough straight on.
Chalcraft has taken the race lead from his teammate Philip Miles. Phil's just going to try and do everything he can now to hold on to this position and defend. He's got Zemstra next up, then Aaron Smith behind, then Alex Fretwell and Jack Reeve. Oh, Werrell, yeah. Jack Werrell spinning again, having another drama. Leonard Schneebel's having connection issues, by the way. That's why he's blinking in and out. I think that's also why he took to the pit lane for the start of this race. Jack Reeve down the inside of Alex Fretwell. No love lost between those two from previous Formula 1 seasons. Hoyland now the sandwich with Blade Speed Esports bread. I don't really fancy shiny grey bread, to be honest with you, but still, some lovely spec maps on these cars, if I do say so myself. They all look resplendent in the sunshine, down towards the hairpin. God, they are treating this like a sprint race, aren't they, Ed?
Yeah, they are, and they're treating each other like the Mercedes from 2014, 15, 16, however many years it was, because you could just see darting to the inside to try and cover it off was, well, both of the race speed cars, but Fraser Smith trying to force the lead to go as narrow as possible into the corner.
Lee made it work really well.
Out. They did, really strong stuff there. All the while they're battling away. It's allowing Zemstra and Smith to try and break away, with Ben Chalcraft leading this race. Further back, look at them all darting, trying to find any amount of track position, any amount of sort of trying to throw off the drivers, filling up their wing mirrors.
I think Jack Reeve has just got, he has just got past Philip Miles. Yeah. Lee Aberdeen now trying it around the outside. Philip did a really good job of defending that. Leonard Schneebel is off at the side of the road, and he has disconnected from this one. I think whatever technical issues he's having have put pay to his race. Lovely opportunism there down the inside by Fraser Smith on Philip Miles. Philip doing a great job, though, at making sure that he keeps it clean throughout all this defensive racing. His teammate still leads this race. Ben Chalcraft up at the front, on to score some big points if he can hold on and survive this. He needs to play the game here. Ben currently finds himself 12th in the championship. His best result, 4th place in the sprint race back at Manicourt. So he certainly had a good night there. He's going to be hoping now that Smith and Zemstra behind will battle as hard as possible, and that'll give him a bit of breathing room. But look at the slipstream.
Well, it's a huge shame for Leonard Schneebel at his home race, but I tell you, look at this Aaron Smith. He's going to try and go from 3rd to 1st in just one corner, one braking zone, hard to the inside. You can see Zemstra's going to try and make it work, but a little bit of contact on the exit slows him down. Fretwell's going to get past at least one car, maybe even 2, as he got the overlap through the right-hand kink. Not quite. That door firmly shut in his face by Zemstra, but now darting up back to the inside as they're going to contact ever so close to it on the exit. Great amount of racing respect from the pair of them, but Aaron Smith, what a start to the race he's been having. Already up now into 1st place and trying to break away from Kevin Zemstra, who's having to bend more than anything else from Alex Fretwell in behind. Great, though, turn of pace for Kevin, especially when you consider at least the last couple of rounds at Zandvoort. He scored some super strong points, with it being his home race. Here as well, he's going to be on track for some, well, even more if it carries on in the way it is. But look at them all of them basically running wide, trying to carry as much momentum as possible.
It's great to see.
What a great first 5 minutes, isn't it?
Other than his DNF, actually, Zemstra got his worst finish of the season in the feature race at Zandvoort. Finished in 10th place, which I refuse to believe. Fraser Smith very late into the right hand around the outside of Jack Reeve, then tries to go down the inside of his teammate. I don't know if he actually meant to do that there, to be honest with you. Jack Reeve won't be too happy with it. He's got double slipstream to think about now. Don't go in the middle, Jack. Okay, go in the middle then. Well, your funeral. Oh, it's going to be one of them's funeral. Flipping heck, it doesn't need to happen, boys. I do driver briefings for a reason. Fraser lifts off the brake. You could see him do it to make sure that he ran deep into the corner to then open up the exit, because you can get a really tasty slingshot. But God, these two Blade Speed Esports cars are fighting like it's the final round of the championship and either one could win it. That may end up being the case, but with Aaron Smith leading this race at the moment, he's the one they need to worry about, not each other.
No, but, well, they're still going to be fighting with each other. Like their lives depend on it. Philip Miles, Cower Racing trying to go past Wave Racing Tech. Oh, Fabio Grosseto. Grosseto, amazing recovery from starting, well, basically at the back of the grid.
Yeah.
So now, already up 10 places into 10th place. Could be 11 now as he darts his way up the inside of the Sachs curve.
Lovely.
And he makes it work. Wonderful stuff there from Grosseto. He has a habit of this, doesn't he, in these feature races of really coming along strong, sometimes helped by the reverse grid, but also just from recovery. Really suits him in this longer format.
Yeah, he had a bit of an embarrassing moment, unfortunately, back at Zandvoort, where he had an innocent spin, and then in trying to get the car going again and spin it around to a fancy donut, he actually just put the car in the wall, unfortunately, and yeah, that put pay to his entire race. But yeah, it's nice to see Grosseto back on this pace again. You can see just how loose this car is on the brakes and on the throttle. These guys do a wonderful job at managing the machine everywhere we go. Ben Chalcraft in the middle of all of this. He's got Fraser Smith in front of him now. Fraser's moved up into 4th place. Lee Aberdeen jinks out to the right-hand side, out of the slipstream. It's almost inevitable that you're going to get slipstreamed here at Hockenheim, so you have to be ready for it as Jack Reeve goes deep into the hairpin contact with Chalcraft. Hopefully, oh, there's more drama. Tusting now into, is that Grosseto? It is Fabio Grosseto. Chalcraft's got a meatball flag as well. Oh, dearie me, he's got broken suspension. Grosseto's got it as well. Danny Weir and Martin Kenyon are off the road now. Oh, it suddenly erupted. What on earth are you doing? Chalcraft with the damage. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, look at that. It's not behaving itself. He's doing his best to drag it back. But that is not what the Hikawa team wanted after having both cars start near the front and for the first lap or so, a 1-2 lead. Let's have a look at how it all came about then. So it was originally Jack Reeve going deep into the corner. Jack goes in too hot, locks it up, hits the back of Chalcraft. That breaks the suspension, breaks his wing. Tusting then overdoes it into the hairpin, hits Grosseto. And then what about Kenyon and Weir behind? So Kenyon has to go all the way around here. Where's Danny Weir in all of this? Oh, no.
Kenyon.
Oh, no. So Kenyon loses it over the curb, and then Danny, well, he's just got nowhere to go. So he's going to arrive on the scene of the accident. Fretwell and Smith having a great battle, by the way. That's David Whitehouse on the inside. Kenyon gets out of the way. Danny gets out of the way. They end up too wide here. And then Kenyon gets going, loses it over the curb, and oh, Danny's got nowhere to go. That's a huge, huge shame, that is. Huge, huge shame as Fretwell and Fraser Smith continue on fighting. Fretwell isn't going to back down. He never does. He's a very, very committed racer. He's currently one of, funnily enough, only 2 cars that are in the position they started this race, and the other one is his teammate, Danny Weir, down in 13th position. Right now, though, there's a lot of battling going on. Philip Miles, David Whitehouse, these two will be buzzing. They're fighting for 7th and 8th places right now. With the demise of a few others, they're on for some big points as long as they keep it clean.
Yeah, on track for, I think, both of their best finishes of the season so far. I mentioned Philip Miles, after being on pole position, he'll relish the opportunity for even more championship points at Ireland. Wave Racing Tech, he's going to be hoping for even more points as well, as he's going side by side with Alex Fretwell, just on the left-hand side. We can't see him on the screen now, but just as well he was on the left-hand side there, as Matt got all sorts of sideways, putting the opposite lock on, powering through and out, and obtaining that 5th place. You can see Lee Aberdeen just up ahead, and Fraser Smith, both of those two trying to reel in Kevin Zemstra and Aaron Smith. Could see this train start to sort of form together, coalesce with the slipstream, bringing them
coalesce.
The tail. Yes.
Oh, that's, you know what, Ed? That's word of the week.
Word of the week.
We're going to start doing word of the week. Coalesce. Oh, that's, what a fantastic word. Where did you pull that from?
I've no idea.
I'm not saying you're not intelligent. You're very intelligent, but that was, oh, I love that. You just so effortlessly used it.
Somewhere in my degree, somewhere I used that word a few times. Who knows what's gone on there?
Tasty.
But anyways, wonderful stuff. We're in for a tasty fight, though, isn't it? Aaron Smith, he's going to be licking his lips at the prospect of a race victory, considering, well, his main rival Fraser Smith won the first race But Aaron will take that as long as he wins the second, because that's where all the big points are scored. Like you mentioned, it was going to be, was it a
So if it's
9-point swing in his favour?
Yeah, if it's a first and a third, it's a 9-point swing, because in the feature races, you score 30 points for a win instead of 15, and for third place, you score 21 instead of 9. It's just a bit further outside of the top 5 where you get more points, though. 6th in the sprint gets you 5, 6th in the feature gets you 12, and then it's 10, 8, 7, 6. So you don't score any points for 11th in the sprint race, but even if you finish 11th in this feature, you're still getting 5 championship points. That is the equivalent of finishing in 6th in a sprint. So yeah, you can play the game both ways. If you don't normally do too well in the sprint, if you do well in the feature, it can make up for that tenfold. But if you don't do well in the sprint, if you don't do well in the feature, then you have to have done well in the sprint, because there's not as much opportunity to score points out of it. Whitehouse, Miles and Clark having a scrap. Very contrasting races for these guys. Whitehouse has gained 5 places, Stuart Clark has gained 7, so too has Connor Hatfield, and Philip Miles has lost 7. Fabio Grassetto has just unfortunately had the end of his race. Not quite sure what caused it, but he's pulled over to one side, and that is that. Grassetto out of the race, which is a big shame, because we know how good his comeback drives can be. He was hit by John Tusting earlier, and that's been it. Schneebel out of the race, Victor Oliveira also out of the race. Werrell and Price have just swapped around. Sounds like a fancy furniture company, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does, but here we go. Simon Price, Team Verde car. We haven't seen too much of the Verde cars, at least this season. Great to get them in the spotlight, because like you mentioned, they're a striking resemblance to the Octane.
Yeah, I might sponsor them with that. I might get in touch with Lego.
Then you got Spontex, we'll see. Lego might be a bit harder to reach corporate, but
yeah, true.
You never know.
They might block me.
That would be something to put on your resume. Been blocked by Lego.
Yeah, once I send the email, I'll be bricking it. We've got Aaron Smith still leading, but Lee Aberdeen has just done the fastest lap of the race. You can argue that he'd be helped by Slipstream here being behind Fraser Smith, but the two of them are definitely closing in on the guys ahead at the moment. Actually, I say that Zemstra was quicker than Fraser Smith, so he's getting closer to the back of Aaron Smith thanks to the Slipstream. Fraser Smith is being reeled in by his teammate. Look at that. The Slipstream is ridiculous, but you can hear him backing out of it early. He doesn't want to be too close on the way into the braking zone, because he wants more of a slingshot on the way out of the corner as Fraser sideways on the way in, sideways on the way out, gliding this car around. I was just going to come back to Simon Price and make the point that he is on for Team Verde's and his first points of the championship if he finishes where he is. His best result is 11th in the sprint race back in the third round of the championship at Zolder, but he unfortunately doesn't get points for finishing 11th in the sprint, so yeah.
You're saying, Chaz, that the car that is reminiscent of a Lego sponsor is building up to a good result here. Simon Price trying to put all the pieces together for what would be his best finish of the season so far.
Fantastic. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. We've got Zemstra still running in second. He's looking very lively right now. Let's have a look at his lap times compared to Aaron Smith. The drivers can now pit. We've gone past 8 laps. They are allowed to pit from the end of lap 8 onwards, unless they are given a meatball flag and have to pit due to damage. The lap times between these two, very similar actually. A 1:35.24 for Kevin Zemstra to the 1:35.28 of Aaron Smith. And just as I mentioned pits, in comes Philip Miles, the first driver to make the usual scheduled stop. He's deciding whether he wants to go into his box or not. Oh my goodness me, that's a big old bump in the concrete, isn't it? Wow.
Interesting.
Oh, he's going to be right at the end as well, because he started on pole position. Fills the car with about 5 seconds worth of fuel. Out he goes. Exactly 6 seconds in the box there for Philip Miles. And he will return back out on track into what might be clean air, but depends. He's got Danny Weir a couple of seconds back, and then his teammate Ben Chalcraft. Ben obviously having damage earlier on. He pitted on lap 5. Not sure if he'll be able to get to the end from there, but yeah, he should be, well, at least able to use the track position to gain some ground back. At the end of the day, we reduced the limit on the fuel that the drivers can have in the car to 75%. So it means that they can't just have an accident on lap 1 and then go to the end. So yeah, we'll see how far that stretches, because Ben pitted on lap 5 after being hit, and we'll see what comes about. But right now, Zemstra, he's looking good on this lap here, Ed. He's catching up with our race leader, Aaron Smith.
Yeah, and we'll hope that he'll be able to give us a little bit of a fight. Maybe not right away, but certainly later in the race. I think at the moment they're going to try and work together because they know the real threat is going to come from Fraser Smith, from Lee Aberdeen in behind. It was in that opening race of the night where it was, I believe, Aaron Smith and Kevin Zemstra battling away with one another and losing sight of the two Blade Speed esports cars, which did end up finishing 1-2. Probably going to be aware of that and try not to make a habit of it, working together this time and see if they can pull away. But it's so hard to do exactly that when Fraser Smith, Lee Aberdeen, they're so quick, they're so consistently quick as well. Sure, over one lap, in the way that our qualifying format is structured, does mean that you can obviously get likes of a driver putting a lap together like Aaron Smith did, being able to put it onto pole position. But I think over the course of a longer stint, I think just the pace of Fraser Smith and Lee Aberdeen it's difficult to match.
Yeah, 100%. They are absolutely blindingly quick drivers. Got a battle going on here for 15th place. Well, 14th place, really. The final point scoring place in this race is 15th. Ben Shalcraft trying a move on Danny Weir. Danny's been having wheel problems before tonight, but touch wood, it looks like the car's going okay so far. So no technicals there. Ben slides through on the right-hand side and outbrakes the 55 machine into the hairpin. A little bit of a scuff on the nose of Danny Weir's EMKA racing car. And now the two Hikawa racing cars are reunited on the circuit once again in 13th and 14th. They started first and third on the grid though, so they will be not thoroughly enjoying the fact that they're back down there, but they've both been into the pits. That's one of the important things to remember here. If we look at the pit stops, highest placed car that has pitted is Jack Reeve. He pitted on lap 5 to replace his front wing. He's only had 5 seconds worth of fuel though, so I think he knows that he can't make it to the end from there. I'm intrigued to see where Philip Miles goes, because he's the only driver that's done a pit stop so far without damage forcing him to do it. So yeah, we'll certainly take a look. Back to the front then. Aaron Smith, Kevin Zemstra. This will give us the indication as to how well they're willing to work together. I think Aaron might brake a little bit early, let Kevin go, and then try and use the slipstream from there. Let's see, how hard's he going to fight this? I know Aaron's a fighter, so he won't want to give it up, and no, he's not going to. Side by side, he might slot back in there actually behind the Mirage car. Ooh, maybe not. No, he's not playing the game. The two of them are going to battle, so yeah, they're not thinking about the bigger picture here. I know Kevin will be thinking, oh, just please let me go in front and then I'll let you go on the next lap, and vice versa. They're not in a Discord chat together, these guys. Some of the teams usually are. They do sit around with their mates. I know Aaron Smith and Jack Reeve are good friends. Those two sit in a Discord chat together. But right now, Kevin Zemstra takes the lead of the race. He hasn't won a race so far this season. He's got 2 second places and a third. All 3 of them coming in sprint races though. In sprints he's had a 6th, a 5th, a 6th and a 10th. He's also had a DNF in one of the sprint races as well, back at Manicourt. Took himself out of the race for making contact with, I believe, Lee Aberdeen actually, as Lee has come into the pits. Interesting. He's been using the slipstream and now he pits, so he doesn't get involved in the battle. This could be a masterstroke, this.
Yeah, backs himself in the clear air to be quicker than everyone else in front. Again, that big massive jump, isn't it, in the pit lane there? It almost looks like it's going to rip the suspension apart. Yeah, but he's taking rear tyres.
Very intriguing.
Car up onto the jacks there and back down again.
Yeah, he was stationary for 7.3 seconds. There's a few more cars into the pits as well. Jack Werrell, Stuart Clark. Jack changing gear for no reason whatsoever. There's the bump. Wait for it. Oh no. Oh, Jack. Oh no. Mr. Werrell. Deary me. Simon Price on his way into the pits. He's there, just believe me. As the battle continues on at the very front of the pack.
This is why Lee went into the pits, because he could tell he was going to battle and slow each other down. He's going to be in clear track, no one's slowing anyone down in front of him, and he could quite easily find himself now in to lead the race. What will Zemstra do? What will Aaron Smith do? What will Fraser Smith do to respond to Lee now? Because he's been the first to blink. 19 and a half minutes remain from the 40 that we started with. So now it's going to become a question of the strategy, seeing if that's going to work out. Lee Aberdeen, does he have any traffic to worry about?
No. No, he's 16 seconds behind Alex Fretwell and 2.5 ahead of David Whitehouse. So Lee Aberdeen is loving life. All three of them come into the pit lane at the same time. This is going to be scary, though, as they get on the brakes. They've got to be careful for this. Fraser doing the right thing there, backing out really early to make sure. Good on him. Hoyland, Fretwell all in as well. But what about this? Lee Aberdeen in the middle of nowhere. Absolutely nailed this at the moment. Theoretically, he's nailed this. Let's see. The guy's come to a stop in the pit lane. Aaron Smith is the first one. He is stationary for 6.8 seconds, only half a second less than this man that we ride on board with now. He's ahead of Fraser Smith and Kevin Zemstra. They're all coming back out onto the circuit. Can Lee carry enough pace to get by them? No, he cannot. Wow. Those guys have done a wonderful job, and Aaron Smith retakes the lead of the race. Fraser Smith second, Zemstra third, Lee Aberdeen fourth. Then it's Hoyland and Fretwell. David Whitehouse back into the pits.
Looking at his times there, I think Lee, because he took the rear tyres, they were stone cold.
Yeah.
He was going to struggle to get them heated up to temperature. He's going to come strong later on in the race. I don't actually know if we can see if Aaron Smith or Fraser or Kevin took any tyres, because that could be important as well for this lap that they're on now, if they're going to be under the threat from Lee, who's got his tyres.
Well, Fraser,
temperature a little bit quicker.
Fraser was stationary for a second and a half less than everybody around him. The other drivers were all stationary for about 7.5 to 7.8 seconds. Actually, Zemstra 7 seconds on the nose. So, yeah, interesting to see that Fraser is the one with the short pit stop. Whitehouse and Werrell sandwiching Chalcraft once again. It's Derrington Francis versus Hikawa. You could see David really hesitant to go into the hairpin there. Made sure that he wasn't turning in on anybody. Great drive this by Jack Werrell, as in the background Connor Hatfield's had a bit of a spin. Not quite sure what's happened to Simon Price, but I think he might have got done for speeding in the pit lane, because he's dropped down to 17th place and he's had a 47-second pit stop. Same with Stuart Clark as well. But what a drive so far. Touch wood by Jack Werrell. 11 places gained from 19th on the grid up into the points. I think he's going to have a pretty solid fight with Chalcraft until the end, but great drive.
Yeah, really, really strong performance so far, and obviously we've still got a lot of racing to remain. Essentially, basically a sprint's worth of racing and a little bit extra. Keep us entertained. Aaron is going to be, well, try not to entertain the idea of Fraser Smith getting past him. Same with Kevin Zemstra, who's just about looming there, you can see in the rear of our shot. And that little speckle in behind, Lee Aberdeen. Pretty much going to be these four, isn't it? Fighting for the race victory. Having the inside Aaron Smith. Fraser, meanwhile, trying all he can do. Get through. What will the point swing be now with first and second in the...
5 feature? Points in the favour of Aaron Smith, so Fraser would still lead by 1. So spicy is the short answer. Very spicy indeed. So Smith leads the race from Smith, but Smith would actually gain 5 points on Smith, meaning that Smith would lead Smith by 1 point after this, just in case you didn't catch that. Great stuff. Very great stuff. The only one of these four not to have won a race so far this season is actually Kevin Zemstra. Like we said, 2 second places and a third. Hoyland and Fretwell, we can't forget about these guys. They're both having really solid races right now. Alex Fretwell started right near the front, so too did Jack Reeve. The two of them have only lost 2 places apiece in this pretty long race so far. Jack Reeve putting in some solid performances. We come back to Ben Chalcraft, who is chasing down Monsieur Werrell for position. And these two both wanting to get just that extra spot, although the gap to Reeve is about 6 seconds from Werrell. And then the gap to Fretwell from Chalcraft is 19 seconds. We've got a really big divide there in the middle of the field, haven't we?
Yeah, really big. It's quite fragmented. I'm not sure if it was maybe the incident into, well, this corner we're coming up to now, partway through the race, that's maybe caused that little bit of splitting of the field. Aaron Smith, Fraser Smith once more side by side. You can just see how late that Fraser was on the brakes to go all the way around the outside. He nearly had his full car length ahead, but fighting back on the exit, Aaron's going to be able to just about keep himself ahead. Will relinquish the inside line back to Fraser. Darts up the inside and now up into the lead of the race. Brilliant stuff there from Fraser.
Yeah, I think Aaron's going to be a little bit frustrated after that, because that's the 3rd time tonight that he's had a Blade Speed esports car down the inside, and someone, actually no, I think Zemstra was the car that went past him earlier, but yeah, that's not the first time that he's been overtaken down the inside into there, where the other car's gone in a bit hot and he's had to react. So Yeah, fair play to Aaron, though, because he got out of it knowing what the situation was, and he's able to fight another day. But right now, he's going to be working on getting back up to the rear end of that Blade Speed Esports car. Smith is absolutely pushing that thing round the final corner. Interests me that Lee Aberdeen hasn't quite closed back in on this lot yet. He was about 0.3 of a second slower than Kevin Zemstra on that previous lap, so I don't think he's quite in slipstream range right now. He's 1.1 seconds back, which is usually the sort of range you'd expect to get it, but yeah, he's not particularly climbing up to the back of them. We'll see from here, but I don't think you're going to get much slipstream from here, are you, at the end of the day?
Going to get a little bit, and these little Indy Pro 2000s are pretty sort of susceptible to the slipstream, and you can get it from quite a ways back, but Lee's not wanting to partake in any of the nonsense, chasing the slipstream all the way over to the right-hand side of the circuit. He's still going to take the more normal racing line. Great little fight, though, isn't it, between Fraser and Aaron and Kevin as well, just looming, waiting in the wings to try and pick up. Another thing I want to touch on, though, is from what you mentioned of Fraser, it's going to be very easy to get frustrated by getting muscled out of position.
Oh, wow.
This is going to be beautiful because he's going to have the inside line for this long right-hander sweeping through back up into the lead of the race.
Aaron Smith.
I was just about to say, for Aaron, it's about sort of almost swallowing your pride when moments like that happen, of getting forced out wide and having to relinquish the position, but it's about trying to, do you want to prove a point and be right, or do you want to, lose the battle to win the war, so to speak?
That was a wonderful move by Aaron Smith. Oh no! Whoa. Oh my word! That's what we were talking about earlier about the curbs. Sometimes you can kiss the curb and get away with it. Other times it'll send you to space. Oh, Fraser, you don't need to do that. You do not need to do that, mate. Not at all. I know that turn one is scary, and I know that you need to commit, but there is no need to do that at all. Whoa. Aaron's showing that he's unhappy with that, and rightly so, I think. He doesn't do anything too silly. Just a little jink in the mirrors just to prove the point. I really hope this doesn't come to a head.
The first we've seen of Aaron expressing any frustration here tonight. I'd imagine it's been building up because, like you mentioned, he's been always getting pushed from pillar to post by various different points from the Blade Speed cars, either one of them. But Aaron's going to hopefully have a cool head as they go side by side yet again, trying to focus on the exit. He'll lose the inside line for the next corner, but aim to have enough of an overlap. Oh, isn't he? He's going to slot back inside, fill up the rearview mirrors. Is he going to have just about a car's width afforded to him? Not really, but going too deep into the corner now. On the exit, Fraser's just going to miss out, and Aaron retakes the lead of the race.
Fantastic battling. Really good stuff from Michael Jones there to move over to one side. Hats off, Michael. Lovely bit of lap traffic behaviour there. As now we go on board with Lee Aberdeen. He's sitting in 4th position. Great fighting that was by Aaron. He had to really force something to get the move done. Just got to hope that there doesn't sort of turn into any retaliation from this, because if you feel the driver's squeezed you, worst thing you can do is squeeze them back and trigger it even more, because at the end of the day you're lowering yourself to the level that you're moaning about. We've seen a bit of that in Formula 1 in the past, but this is competition at the end of the day. You can't tell these guys to slow down or take it easy or take a chill pill. It is brilliant battling, and these two are the championship leaders as well. Aaron Smith and Fraser Smith. Sam Fitzpatrick not here tonight. Kevin Zemstra currently 5th in the championship. Lee Aberdeen 6th, but some would argue Lee Aberdeen on paper the quickest driver in the series. Right now though, he is literally hanging back, isn't he? He's not overdoing this right now, is Lee Aberdeen. He's hanging back in the twisty bits because he knows the slipstream keeps him in the picture for these parts.
I think he's just going to let the problem handle itself. I think that's his aim, is to see all of these drivers again side by side. Once more, Fraser Smith and Aaron Smith. Knows that they've got a lot to fight for in this championship. Lee's just enough out of the picture to maybe go under the radar, and that could be a real benefit for him, especially if these two do end up coming to blows and dropping down the order. Obviously, we hope we don't see that and we have this fight carry on. I think Kevin's doing a similar thing as well, because there's numerous opportunities for Kevin to get his nose involved in those fights, make it free wide through points. He's had the run on, several times in the last sort of 3 laps or so, but
he's not completed it.
He's very similar to Lee, I think, just letting those two fight it out, and maybe in the next 5 minutes starting to throw his hat in the ring.
Just to highlight Lee Aberdeen's season so far, finished 5th in the Navarra sprint race. He then won the feature, took the championship lead. Then he won the sprint at Manicourt. It looked like he was going to start a string of dominance. Then he just finished 6th. Then at Zolder, 17th and 16th. Then he had a 2nd in the sprint at Zandvoort, but then a 15th in the feature. So in 3 of the last 4 races, he's finished only in the points twice. And one of them was a 15th place as well. So, I mean, even if he finishes where he is now, he's scoring 18 points, finishing in 4th. He'll be over the moon with that. And to be honest, I mean, earlier on in the night, he scored well with a 2nd place finish. So he would have got, what, 30 points out of tonight? So, yeah, he's going to certainly help himself if he finishes even in 4th. But when you could gain how many more points? 3 more points, and then 4 more points, and then 5 for each of those positions ahead. Yeah, try and tell him not to go for it.
Exactly, and that's what we want to see is the drivers going for it. That's sort of almost what the point system in these feature races sort of prioritises, doesn't it? It encourages the drivers to go for those positions, because while it may just be one place on the road, the amount of points you get means the world of difference and can obviously cause some big swings in the championship as a result if you have a poor race in the feature. This is David Whitehouse. Just seeing him to the outside, and there's a, coming together, and
then no. Oh no.
This is what we saw earlier, wasn't it? I think
about
3 laps ago.
So it was Jack Werrell having a spin. Jack Werrell had the spin, came to a stop. Chalcraft then stopped because he tried to avoid it and ended up putting himself in danger. Jack just loses it on the brakes. Ben decides to go wide, stops, tries to get around it, and then Whitehouse, that's such a shame. That's so unfortunate. They all do the right thing, but it ends up just being a miscommunication and they all end up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Right, 7 minutes still left to go here. Nearly half a sprint races. Oh, Aaron Smith and Fraser Smith getting very, very hairy here. Really, really no need for it. They really want to force the gap on each other. They don't need to squeeze each other like that either. This is starting to scare me a little bit. I feel a bit of a telling off as Fraser's gone deep. And Aaron, gets back through on the exit. Kevin has to take evasive action. Whoa, Danny Weir gets a bit excited as well in the background. He lets Matt Hoyland back through. But goodness me, that got a little bit scary, didn't it? Fraser wanted to force that gap open. Aaron Smith showed him the door. And to be honest, they're both very lucky to have gotten away with that. You can tell the guys that have got new rear tyres, though, can't you? Fraser's shredding his.
Yeah, I'm not a betting man, but I think if there were bookies putting odds on who's going to win this race, it would probably be even between all of them, because they're just as likely up in front, Aaron Smith and Fraser Smith, to either of them to win, but also to
take
crash
each
out
other
into
off.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of them. Something's going to give, or it's going to remain how it is until the end, I think, unfortunately. Hikawa teammates side by side, flying formation for Chalcraft and Philip Miles, the two of them good friends, have been for a long, long time. I know both of them from the Circuit Superstars Discord. Wonderful, wonderful top-down racing game. If you've never played it, please do. Same with Connor Hatfield as well. I believe his online name was Kenjo. As he's battling away with John Tusting, a regular in Chaz Draycott Media Championships. We love John to bits. Very funny man, lots of banter. Simon Price, by the way, he's trying his best to get back up into the top 15 for that championship point. He had a drive-through penalty, he had a stop and go basically earlier. He had to sit in the pits for 40 seconds because he was speeding in the pit lane. Lee Aberdeen now is pulling the trigger and he's trying to move on Kevin Zemstra.
Yeah, Kevin's always going to get boxed in now behind. Oh no, he isn't actually. I thought that we were going to see Lee go for the move up the inside and he was going to box in Kevin Zemstra because his teammate Fraser Smith was right up in front of him, but for whatever reason Lee decided now wasn't the time to go for the move. Instead just backed out and backed down. Like we were talking earlier about all these drivers' possibilities to win the race, I think Kevin's going to be, similar to his countryman who races in Formula 1 within last year, his odds on winning the championship, I think it was coming into Austin. 50-50. Either it happens or it won't. That's the option for Kevin Zemstra and Lee Aberdeen right now.
You remind me of a hilarious meme I saw the other day. Slight sort of, what do they call it? Tangent here for just a moment, but if anybody loves their Counter-Strike and knows of the streamer Ownerpixel, absolutely hilarious gentleman from Germany. He said that he was trying to calculate the likelihood that you get a certain knife out of a case, and he went through, this type of field tested or, factory new and all this sort of thing, the condition of it, the fact that you get that pattern and so on, and he's going down to like 9 decimal places of a percentage, and he says, you know what, no, it's 50-50. You either get it or you don't, and it just absolutely writes me off. They go through the full maths of it, only for him to throw it all out the window and say it's 50-50. And that's very true here, but I tell you what, Aaron Smith, hats off. He was clearly miffed at the way he was being treated by the 3 cars behind him, and he stood his ground, and he's now actually started to, I was going to say open a gap, but considering how this battle's been for the last few laps, that's a substantial lead, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but Kevin now is right up the gearbox of Fraser Smith. Is he going to look to the inside? No, he's going to go to the outside, and that's going to get slammed shut in his face by Fraser Smith. Now, Lee Aberdeen's closing in a little bit as Zemstra gets held up. All the while, Aaron's trying to break away, but to no avail, because once more it gets reeled in by Fraser.
Yeah, this is the thing.
This battle is very tasty.
I was going to say, if Kevin starts to attack Fraser too much and it doesn't work, they're going to fall away, and that's going to unleash Fraser to attack Aaron. Fraser's going to go for it, and he is going to push. He took the race win just earlier on from his teammate Lee Aberdeen. He won the feature race back at Zandvoort. He won the sprint race at Zolder. He finished second in the feature race at Zolder. Is he going to be the first driver ever to win 2 races in one night? Because we thought Thiago Martel was going to do it, and it was Fraser, funnily enough, that put a stop to that. Shellcraft and Miles both still in the top 10, as Crimson has rightly pointed out, both of them on for some solid championship points. Philip Miles having a great night here in Germany. He got his first championship point in the sprint race by finishing 10th, and he's now 10th in the feature. Good to see that Werrell has still recovered as well after all of the dramas that he's had this race. Still up in 8th place after starting 19th on the grid. Incredible. Zemstra and Lee Aberdeen swapping places. Lee gets through up into 3rd. The two of them are good mates, so we don't really need to worry too much about any dramas between the pair. But has that unleashed Lee now to attack his teammate, or will he sit behind? There should be 1 lap to go.
That's a really important move there, because it does open up the door massively for Lee to potentially get into the race winning position.
Yeah, this
we're going to, I think, see the white flag, I think, this time over the line. They're not going to be able to get over the line in the next 10 minutes or 10 seconds, so it will be the final lap that they are about to start now.
I'm nervous.
Double helping of the slipstream. Yeah, I'm nervous as well. I dread to think what the likes of Aaron Smith's going to be feeling now. He needs to really nail these next couple of corners. They are pivotal for his race. White flag being waved, but Aaron Smith is not going to be surrendering anytime soon. He can see the race victory just in his grasp. He needs to navigate essentially this first half of a lap. And as long as he stays in the lead, which he's been able to do really nicely through that first corner, building out a bit more of a margin, he needs to get this corner absolutely nailed on perfect as well. Ooh, I think Fraser's got a slightly better run now. We'll see the slipstream. How strong is it? Can Fraser get alongside in towards this all-important hairpin?
Aaron Smith only has 1 race win this season, and up until the sprint race earlier tonight, he was leading the Drivers' Championship. Lee Aberdeen looks down the inside of Fraser Smith. Fraser Smith looks down the inside of Aaron Smith, and none of them change places. There's nearly contact behind. Zemstra isn't close enough to take advantage of it, and Aaron Smith has got the hard part of the lap done, I'd say. He's just got to keep it tidy now through the 2 arena sections into the first one. Fraser puts his nose down the inside. He can't break that much later than him into there. Lee Aberdeen carries great speed through the left-hander, though. He's going to climb right up behind his teammate now. He wants to return the favour from race 1, and he wants to get back in front. Just a few corners to go now, Ed. It looks like Aaron Smith's in a good position.
Great positional awareness from Aaron earlier in the lap there, just to put his car in the middle of the track into the braking zone, basically to show Fraser, if you want to go for the move, you're going to have to work really hard and almost certainly brake on a very shallow line and outbrake yourself. Aaron has done all the hard work. He's going to try and carry through the last desperate attempt up the inside of Fraser Smith. No real opportunities to overtake through there, though. What a result for Aaron Smith. The championship is as finely poised as ever, though, is over the line.
Wow.
Look at them. Always flying formation. Brilliant race.
Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Aaron Smith wins at Hockenheim, his 2nd race win of the season from Fraser Smith and Lee Aberdeen. The top 3 covered by 0.2 of a second. And we've still got battles to sort out. Zemstra is 4th, Hoyland 5th, ahead of Alex Fretwell. Next up is going to be Jack Reeve. He comes around the final corner, and no, on the final lap, Simon Price gets a slowdown penalty. Reeve has a quiet race, but finishes in 7th place. Werrell and Chalcraft throw in the kitchen sinks at each other as they head into the final couple of corners, doing everything they can. What a recovery from Werrell. 19th on the grid to finish 8th. What a drive, mate. Get in. Chalcraft 9th. Philip Miles, what a night for him. His first championship point in race number 1 and more championship points in race 2. David Whitehouse is next across the line. John Tusting and Connor Hatfield get some more championship points for Spontex CDM Esports as well. Well done to Connor. Martin Kenyon's had a bit of a bruising night in the Flaxon Sport Car, the lone Flaxon Sport Car out there this evening. Stuart Clark is going to complete the points finishers in just a moment's time. And it's bookending the point scorers, the DNA Motorsport cars. Stuart Clark just about to finish in 15th. His teammate Aaron taking his 2nd win of the season. Very well done to DNA. They'll be very, very pleased with that one. What a battle that was between Aaron Smith and Fraser Smith at the end there. The 2 championship leaders. You couldn't ask for more, could you?
Really? Well, I mean, you could from winning every single race, but certainly I think in terms of the battle we got treated to, I think both drivers are going to leave Hockenheim very, very happy. Not only because of they've kept the championship nice and finely poised, but also just because of what a great fight that was. Really respectful, a little bit elbows out at the time, but never really seemed to go too far over the line.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, that's probably one of the best races we've been treated to all season long, Chaz. I don't know about you, but
that was
really, that's what we want to see.
Yeah, that was absolutely outstanding. And Aaron Smith, you know, he put up with a lot of pressure there. He put up with a lot of mind games and a lot of tricks. And he gave them back out as well and gave us an epic finish till the end. His 2nd victory of the season. And, well, with that, actually, swinging that way around, there will be 1 point in it in the Drivers' Championship after 5 race meetings, 10 races. Aaron Smith and Fraser Smith locked in battle for the championship lead. And Kevin Zemstra having a great night as well. Also, it has to be said, Lee Aberdeen will be very pleased, I'm sure, with how his night has gone. Let's have a look at some race results, and then we should be able to calculate the points. There you go. Aaron Smith leads and wins from Fraser Smith, 65 thousandths of a second. Lee Aberdeen 3rd, 2/10, 1 second covering the top 4. Kevin Zemstra 4th, ahead of Matt Hoyland. A great night for Matt in terms of points. Fretwell finishing in 6th, ahead of Jack Reeve and Jack Werrell. A lovely recovery from him. Ben Chalcraft finishes in 9th with his teammate Philip Miles completing the top 10. David Whitehouse gets some 5 points in 11th, ahead of John Tusting. Connor Hatfield, 3 more points for car number 3. Martin Kenyon and Stuart Clark complete the point scorers. Simon Price just missing out on points, unfortunately, with Danny Weir in 17th place. Seemed like Danny's wheel kept with him until the end, which is lovely to see. Then Michael Jones finishes in the 18th spot. Excuse me while I click the wrong buttons. Fabio Grassetto was out of the race, so too was Leonard Schneebel and Victor Oliveira. We'll quickly get some of the points calculated in our system. See whether we can get it to retrieve all of the data from tonight's shenanigans. And we will see that this should be the Drivers' Championship standings. There you go. Fraser Smith and Aaron Smith. Just 1 point between them. Fraser leading that one. That position with Lee Aberdeen in 2nd really meant a lot. Lee moves up 3 places tonight in the championship, up into 3rd. A great night for him. Zemstra goes back up into 4th. Fitzpatrick and Hoyland both slop down into 95 points apiece. Jack Reeves stays where he is. He's probably looking around thinking, flipping heck, everyone chill out. Fretwell, amazingly, car 5 has now 55 points. You can't make this up. Leonard Schneebel, unfortunately, with a DNF there, drops down to 9th. Ben Chalcraft now moves up into the top 10, ahead of Kio Tiago Marto and Fabio Grassetto. John Tusting is 13th. I'm just wondering as well, where is Philip Miles after scoring his first points of the season? He's 19th on 7 points. A great night for him, overtaking Connor Hatfield and Danny Weir. Well, spicy, spicy stuff indeed, Ed. We're going to go back in time a little bit here and just see what the situation is. Obviously, the transition will go, and then, yes, it'll do that. But we're going to get some music on, and we're going to speak to some drivers, see what they thought about that one. I imagine there's a few what would you call it? Furrowed brows in the list tonight. I want to speak to the man that took the first win of the night, Mr. Smith. Well, Fraser Smith. There's two Smiths. Fraser, hello, mate. You must be pretty pleased with tonight. Solid points, solid results, but God, you had to work hard for it.
Yeah, I'm happy, but I definitely had to work hard for it everywhere. And there was no team orders today, that's for sure.
I was going to say, that was going to be my next question, actually. You know, we know that you know who your teammate is at the end of the day. Do you run the livery pack when you're in sim? Yeah. You've got it all loaded and running, because sometimes we had it in Formula 1 where people wouldn't run it and they'd forget who their teammate was. But it's interesting to see that you guys are throwing everything at each other, and it's certainly entertaining. I imagine it's a bit stressful in the cockpit, though, is it?
Yeah, I was trying to avoid it, which you may have seen, but sometimes you can't. So
yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Take it.
What about the car around here tonight at Hockenheim? Was it? I mean, it's tricky everywhere, but how did it suit this place? Because it looked like a bit of fun.
Yeah, it was pretty good. My rear tyres had absolutely had it in the feature race. So it turns out Aaron, I think, took tyres, and yeah, I couldn't really do a lot. My rear tyres, I think, were like 60% when I finished, and really hot. So
ouch.
Learn that for next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, it was good fun. Yeah.
Cracking. Well, you know, next time indeed, we go to the Hungaroring, a circuit where it's very difficult to overtake. How are you feeling about going there?
I hate the Hungaroring for a start.
Okay, we'll see you next week.
Dear me.
Well, but also,
Dear.
you may not see me next week, and I won't know until the day. So next week I have something to do at work, and I'll either be home at 6 o'clock or I'll be home at 9 o'clock, and you'll know if I'm in qualifying or not.
Oh,
basically.
man. Man. Well, we certainly hope that we can see you there, mate. Before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I know my dad's watching. A few of my mates are watching. Grace probably is. Everybody that I was racing against there, everyone kept it clean, and yourselves for the broadcast, as always.
Thank you very much, mate. Pleasure to speak to you as ever, and yeah, we'll hopefully speak to you soon. We keep our fingers crossed to see you at the Hungaroring.
I hope so.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Well, that would be quite the upset not to see him there next week, but we'll have to wait and see. As is life, you know, we always say real life comes first. That's just how the story goes. Aaron Smith now joins us in the box. Aaron, congratulations, mate. I know that you'll be buzzing with taking that win, especially having to fight so hard for it. How do you feel?
I honestly wish I was wearing my Apple Watch, because my heart rate, I could actually feel it like coming out of my chest half the time. It was, yeah, that was the most intense race. But both sprint and feature was just intense the whole time. I mean, in that first sprint race, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to comment on what I thought of what Lee did, but you know, gave me suspension damage, made the car kind of undrivable for the rest of the race, and still managed to finish P3. I have no idea how. And then, yeah, that whole feature race was battling Kevin at the start. Him and me were just being very fair with each other. He's really good will to will, and then at the end, just Fraser just on me constantly. I think I just made less mistakes than him, to be honest. I mean, maybe he had a little bit more pace than me, but then again, the slipstream round here was so powerful.
Oh, it was mental.
Yeah, it was really, really difficult to get out of. But yes, that was just really intense, and I probably need to lie down now.
I'm not surprised, mate. You'll probably need to lie down after next week as well. We go to the Hungaroring next time. What do you make of that?
Goody. Well, it's not my favourite track. It's basically going to be the polar opposite to this. It's just going to be pure pace, to be honest. The slipstream will be basically non-existent. I think dirty air is really going to be just awful. That middle sector is going to feel like a boat in this car. Qualifying is going to be super important. Trying to make up places early on in that feature. It's going to be literally the exact opposite to this. So, yeah, it's going to be a very different approach, and just going to have to keep practicing.
Well, we look forward to seeing it, mate. And obviously, the championship itself is quite feisty. We might not see Fraser next week, which obviously, might be a bit of relief for you, but it's a bit of a shame in terms of the in the fight. 1 point between you now, leaving Hockenheim, which is just epic. How are you feeling about the season so far, and what's been your impression of everything?
It's gone a lot different than I thought it would be. At the start of the season, I didn't really enjoy the car that much, but I think I've kind of finally figured out how to drive it properly, especially in the races. That's where it really matters. Anyone can be quick over a one lap, but it's really the race pace that sets apart the top guys and even the midfield runners. It's just keeping those tires in the right temperature window. You lock up once or have a slide anywhere, and you're just going to have no grip. So it's I think the season's going well, considering I'm somehow in a championship fight. If Fraser is not here next week, then if it makes it any better, I'm going to be missing Red Bull rings. So
okay.
And I might be here for the last round. Might be. My flight back from Vegas is literally on the Tuesday, so I'm going to land at like 8 a.m. on the Wednesday. So we'll see. We'll see.
You've got 11 hours to sleep, so stop moaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Either way, mate, before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Jack, again, we were in cool the whole time. He had a bit of a tricky race, but still had really good pace nonetheless. You guys, again, as usual, thank you, Chaz, for running the whole event. It's a lot of fun doing these every single Wednesday, and for setting up the stream, and of course to you, Ed, as well, for commentating alongside. And appreciate you both, and we'll see you guys next week.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.
Aaron Smith clearly very happy with that one, and who wouldn't be, Ed? I mean, he pulled an absolute blinder in that race, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it was an absolutely amazing battle. The defense that you had to put on right at the end as well. After what I can imagine was very frustrating, like he alluded to, the little bit of coming together between himself and I think it was Lee Aberdeen in that first race was certainly something that could have easily set him down a frustrating spiral, but he kept a cool head, and that's what you need to do, because it's certainly paid dividends in terms of the championship now, still right up in it. Hopefully we see that the drivers are able to make all of the rounds of the championship, and we see that fight up until the very end of the season at Imola. But regardless, well, just from tonight, what a race we were treated to, wasn't it? We came into this race at Hockenheim anticipating fireworks, and we got them.
We absolutely did, and so did this guy as well. Philip Miles joins us in the box. Philip, you must be really pleased, mate. Your first championship points in race number 1. And then, of course, a top 10 in race number 2 as well. You must be really pleased.
Yeah, it's amazing. I definitely did not expect to get a point in a sprint race or a pole.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. What was it like starting from pole position?
I was a bit nervous, but I got a good start, and I don't know, was it turn 1, 2? No, actually after turn 1 I looked at the relative and there was only Ben and me, and there was like a second gap, so well, I got team order to let him pass and try to hold others back. And we had a great first lap, it was amazing. Unfortunately, it wasn't over after that.
Well, still, you held on in the rest of the race. You had a lot of great battles with people throughout as well. We go to the Hungaro ring next time round, which is a tricky circuit in itself. The other drivers we've interviewed have said they don't like it. Do you like it?
Personally, yeah. I kind of like racing there. I mean, as good as racing can be.
Yeah.
I just hope that I keep it on track again. It's not a certainty that I can do it this season.
Well, I appreciate your honesty, mate. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go this evening?
It's my mind is still like completely on.
You're on the spot now.
I'm still nervous with high pulse, and it's hard to say. I'm gonna make a shout out to Crimson. She's watching like all the races.
Yeah, fair play.
So
Crimson
far,
is a great supporter of Chaz Draycott Media and the racing as well. So yeah, fair play.
Yeah, so thanks Crimson for the support and all the trolling the last few weeks when I couldn't keep it on track.
You've paid the points now. You've got them in the bag, mate. Thank you very much once again, Philip. Very well done, mate. We'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening, and we look forward to seeing you, of course, next week.
Yeah, thanks guys. See you next week and good night.
Thank you very much. Philip Miles, great milestone, no pun intended, for him actually, after that evening of racing. 10th place in race 1, 10th place in race 2. Not a bad night at the office when you haven't scored any championship points up to now, eh?
Yes, and that's obviously why we like to sort of give that championship, in every single championship that I know you run, Chaz, you like to prioritise points, not all the way down, but sort of to maybe the midpoint, maybe just below the midpoint. So it means that those drivers who do find themselves rarely scoring points, it makes it all the more special when they do. You can see it was really, really special for Philip there. So it's, again, wonderful that he was able to reap the rewards that his racing certainly warranted.
Absolutely. We'll take another look at the championship standings then. As we leave Hockenheim, it's Fraser Smith, 159 points. Aaron Smith, 158. Lee Aberdeen has a good night and moves himself back up into third. He could very quickly be a part of this championship fight as well. Just 3 race meetings left to go, though, here in the Formula CDM European Series. Unfortunately, the last one of the season where we'll have Mr. Ed May alongside me in the commentary box. But Ed, what have you made of this first iteration of the Formula CDM umbrella, so to speak?
It's been absolutely brilliant, and I can't wait till the next time I get to be in the comments box with you, be it for the America Series, the British Series, the Asia Oceania, and even the World Series at the very end as well. So certainly going to be looking forward to that, and yeah, I'll be happy to watch along the sidelines.
Well, thank you very much, mate. It's great to have you a part of it as ever. Thanks once again to all the drivers for putting on such a great show, and thank you all of you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the stream here tonight on Chaz Draycott Media for the Formula CDM European Series. Don't forget, join us in a week's time where we'll be at the Hungaroring. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you there.